So welcome back, guys. Now today I thought to bring something a little bit different for you. My daughter gave me a call a couple of days ago. She said, Dad, my car's making a terrible noise. So of course it's up to Dad to sort things out so it doesn't end up costing her 500 quid or whatever. Now it's a little bit more modern than I usually used to, but let's have a go, shall we? Now it seems to me like, just listen to this. So, as you heard there, it doesn't sound too clever, does it? It actually sounded much worse than that when she pulled up. It sounded like a brick in a washing machine, as I normally say. But I mean, if you look closely at the belt here, I mean, look at that. It's just flopping about like an old flag. Now, as I said, it's a little bit more modern than I'm normally used to, but come on, how bad can it be? From what I can remember rightly, on these, I think you've got like a tensioner on the water pump itself, and you've got like a zip code that you can pull and it takes the tension off. But I think there's also a separate tensioner for the belt. I'm probably wrong, but we'll take it all apart and we'll see what we've got, we'll see what we're looking at. But yeah, let's have a go, shall we? I mean, how bad can it be? Now, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this cover off here, and just under here you've got one of the main engine mounts. So I'm going to undo the bolts on that. I'll slightly lift the engine, and that'll just give us a little bit more access, and we'll be able to see what we're doing. I'll also get the wheel off, and under the wheel cover, you know, the arch cover, and that should give us a little bit more room anyway. So as always, let's get stuck in.
Now, along with my brother Lee and ex-Liverpool striker Robbie Fowler, we purchased the first three out of Williams BMW when these cars were first launched back in 2000. But after receiving over 20 recalls because of faults in the first 3 months of ownership, I'm afraid I spat my dummy out and quickly sold the car. It was a case of BMW rushing the release due to demand before it was properly tested.
Well, I think I've sussed the problem right away. What we're looking at here, that's actually the crankshaft pulley there. It's like it's come apart, like it's split in half, and the outer ring's just completely fallen off. Well, let's get this plastic wheel arch off. You learn a new thing every day, you know. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. I mean, this is the main crankshaft pulley. It looks to me like, maybe I'm going crazy here, but it looks to me like somebody's re-glued the pulley on with, like, using tiger seal or something. No, probably wrong. That's what it looks like to me. That's crazy how the car was even running, I don't know. Could have been a disaster, that. Still might be. Let's take a look at the pulley itself. You can actually see here where the rubber moulding which holds the outside rim of the pulley together, it's like it's melted off and just broken. See? A big chunk out there. Yeah, well, that's bitten the dust, well and truly. Okay, So where's the new part? There you go, that looks right. Yep, spot on. Stay to that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to remove this top cover so that I've got better access to the top of the belt. I could raise the car slightly and take the engine mount off, but I don't think I'm going to have to do that. I might just get away with this. I'm replacing the tensioner as well, so let's see what kind of access we've got here. It's not too bad actually, but it's taking a little bit of a battering, so best replacement new, isn't it, while it's all off. Yeah. A little bit of grease, and on it goes. A little bit of thread lock on the bolts. You can use new ones if you want. I'm using the originals. After you've torqued them up, the belt's ready to go back on. And rather than using a special tool for releasing the tension, which you didn't have, I've just used a 21mm spanner on the tension pulley itself. Sorry, and as you can hear, this is the Mini Cooper D, the diesel version. So that sounded good. I'll just button this back up again. Now, the worry was, when there was a bad rattle on the engine, like I said, it sounded like a brick in a washing machine. I was worrying that it was going to be the chain guides, which is a common fault with these. They just kind of crumble and fall into the engine, and it's kind of engine out to do that. So I'm so pleased, it sounded nice and smooth, that, and that's obviously what the rattle was. It was the whole thing coming apart from its moulding, which I think she was very lucky really. The way it just dropped off and the belt dropped onto where the rubber moulding was. It was just unbelievable look. But yeah, she'll be happy. Oh, and I also bought a tensioner for the belt, a new tensioner and the pulley as well. I thought I'd put a new one of them on. But when I took it all apart and examined it, it looks like someone's already done it in the past, because the tensioner looked new and so did the pulley next to it. So I'll be returning those parts. That's the result. Come on, you slippery little sucker. So, from a little bit of normality outside the garage, it's a complete bedlam inside the garage. Remember I mentioned a few weeks ago that I was going to do something radical with this garage? Well, I've been kind of dipping in and out over the last couple of months, but it just got to a point where I had to do something drastic because I was sick of tripping over my tools, and quite frankly, I just didn't want to come in here anymore. Even the telly gave up the ghost.
So here's a little bit of what I've been up to, and a little bit of a progress check for you guys.
Okay guys, I know this is a little bit boring, it's not really the mechanics you're used to seeing, but you know, when you're in the middle of winter and you're working on your classic and it's freezing outside and you got all the doors closed and it's nice and cozy, there's nothing like having a bit of telly on in the background, or a bit of YouTube, or your favourite programs, or anything, just a little bit of noise in the background, just so I can like tinker away and it just feels like I've got a bit of company. Whatever rings me bell.
You know, 30 years ago, I built this garage out of the remnants of an old pigsty to house my stable of modern cars. But once I got that side of things out of my system, it was back to my true love of classics. But of late, with the sheer volume of cars and the growing demands of YouTube, I'm ashamed to say it's once again becoming pigsty. And this floor, well, it speaks for itself. But with a bit of hard work, a bit of elbow grease, give the walls a lick of paint, we should be able to bring this garage back to life.
So I'm also kind of conscious of tools that have held me up in the past, and I've always been intending to get one of these. You can use these for, like, you know, for instance, when I worked on the XJS, I had to drop the whole pan on the gearbox to change the gearbox oil because there was no drain plug. This is perfect. You just put the pipe down, give it a pump, and all the fluid pumps into here, and it's a nice big pump as well. I remember back Mercedes-Benz back in the 80s and 90s, we're servicing the cars at the main dealers, and instead of dropping the sump plug, I mean, they got into all kinds of problems, you know, a few years down the line, because instead of dropping the sump plug, they were sucking the oil out of the engine and then replenishing it with fresh oil, but all the swarf stayed at the bottom and it caused no end of problems. But anyway, I digress. This is one of the pieces of equipment that I thought that's a must buy because it's going to help me out in the future. So another tool I've purchased, if you can call it a tool, is this. Now, it doesn't seem much, it's just one of them stools on wheels, but it's got something a little bit extra. It's got little drawers here, you know, for usual spanners like your 10mm, your 13mm, you know, old pliers, whatever, bits and bobs that you commonly use. And you've got a tray here for all your bits and bobs and nuts and whatever else. And I think you've noticed I do an awful lot on my knees, which isn't ideal, I suppose. You know, I'm going to hit problems in the future if I keep doing that. So Obviously I'm going to get a lift in the future, but for now this is just nice just to swing around and taking wheels off and stuff like that, working on suspension. So yeah, another little nice addition. I just want to be well prepared, you know. And I've got these little things here. I got these from Motul. You've got like a lube, brake clean. You know, all the things you kind of use regularly, surface clean. And what a nice little piece of kit.
And I've also been keeping my eye out for a decent workbench. And I found this languishing at the back of an antique shop. This should do the job. But please don't try this at home, guys. Not really for the faint-hearted. And I suppose this is the downside of being a one-man show. Voila. Well, I seem to be going in the right direction. You know, I suppose it's a bit slow, but it's progress. What do you think, boys?
Okay guys, I just thought I'd give you a little update on what I've been doing with my garage, because remember it was a bit of a shit tip. I was sick to the back teeth of it and I thought something's got to be done. So I've been doing a lot of cleaning over the last few weeks. I'm putting everything in order so everything's in its place. I mean, there was tools everywhere if you remember. So here I've got me taking me MIG gases from Pro Gases in Liverpool. Instead of messing around with them piddly little bits that you get from Halfords or, you know, the car stores about this big and they last about 2 minutes. I thought I'd have them all proper, all on a wheelie thing where I can move it about. I'm made up with this. This is my new compressor. Well, one of them. I've got two smaller ones. I think you remember I had the Sealy 150, which was quite powerful and it did everything I needed to do with it. But it's not as if I'm painting cars in here. I mean, I use air tools a lot and I do a lot of, you know, paint stripping and all the rest of it. But if you look at this, this is a super silent one. And this is the difference. And this is why I've got it. I mean, how good is that? You see, excuse me, you've got to be respectful. You know, you can't piss the neighbours off, you know, if you're working through the night. And a lot of the time I do work through the night, you know, especially if you've got a deadline to make. So this Clarke Shhh here is absolutely fantastic. I don't like the sticker, but I love the compressor. This is me fluid extractor, which will come in really handy. It's always best to have the right tools. If you don't, it takes you hours and hours to do the job. That should take 10 minutes. So this is my other compressor. Just listen to the difference in sound. Bit of a difference in it. So you can see I've gone for two slightly smaller ones, so they're accessible and I can move them about as well. Because I've got cars coming in and out, I can move them around and basically reshape the garage as I want, when I want. I've got me strong arm spring compressor. See, I'm erring on the side of safety. Everything I do, want everything in its right place. Nice clean working space, nice clean garage floor. Here's my tools all in order. All my sockets, all my spanners, pliers, screwdrivers. And then I've got my ratchet guns and everything's in its place. You know, my bearing press, which has made life so much easier for me. I'm just trying to do things more or less on a budget. You know, I've got the Tang and the Snap-on and, you know, all the fancy tools, but I just think Clarke and Machine Mart make fantastic stuff. You know, it's not the most expensive, you can do it on a budget, and it's real quality stuff. And what I was intending to do is just get all the crap off the floor, get it up into cupboards so I know where everything is. Now this is, I wouldn't say it's a temporary thing because this is going to go over that side of the garage, but I thought for the time being I'm waiting on Clarke's 32 drawer cabinet, which basically goes along here like that, and I can just put everything in it, put all my spare tools, drills, everything else. And this just basically houses all my spray stuff, foams, cleaning stuff, oils, off the floor, not in the way so you're tripping over them. And yeah, you know, you've got my trusty vice as usual. And one of the worst things I had to do was this floor, and it still isn't finished. I've literally been on my hands and knees scrubbing it with a scrubbing brush and mask on and thinners. It's the only way you can get all the crap off the floor. So basically we're probably a third the way there, but as you can see, you know, I think that's a huge improvement. I know where all my tools are, everything's nice and clean and functioning properly, and it's just much more productive. Over here you can see a new addition. This is my workbench, which I found in an antique shop. A couple of £100, but look at the quality of that, look at the weight of it. Here you've got the Artec welders, you've got my MiG 181, you've got my TIG welder, you've got all my bits and bobs, you've got my air-fed mask. Again, they're all off the floor, you're not tripping over them, you know where everything is. In this cupboard, you've got all spare parts and bits and bobs. Here, you've got all the papers and the sanders, all my Maker stuff, all the top quality gear, all the different size papers, all in order. So I know where to put my hands and everything. And it doesn't take 4 hours to do a job, that should take 10 minutes. Here you've got me Darris, my Maker Darris. As I explained, I haven't got the biggest compressors in the world, but I've got a quiet one to work through the night and another one as well. So I can, you know, I can flip between the two if it's not enough power for my tools. I can just flip between the two, and this will do all the stripping. If I'm doing body work and stripping paint off cars, then this is the one, you know, when it's electric. And everything's extracted out, you know, all the dust and everything else. But the star by the lot for me, call me whatever. Wow! This has come from a factory from the 60s or the 50s, whatever. But I just think it goes great. It's just a nice little cherry on the cake for the garage. And you know the amazing thing was? I plugged it in. It keeps time perfectly. I can't believe it. It was sold as a clock that didn't work. And I just think it's a nice little finishing touch. And as I say, we're only a third the way through the garage, but I'll keep doing updates as we go on, every couple of episodes, whatever. And I hope you're excited as I am, because it's actually become a space that is nice to be in. I enjoy coming into this space now. I look forward to it because it's got everything I need in all the right places, and it's just more conducive, as I say, to doing good quality work. So yeah, I'll keep you updated in future episodes. Come on, Bill. Thank you for watching this episode of Classic Obsession. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe. And see you all next time.